Nobody wants to be an obstacle to their success. Despite the great intention, much of the obstacles you encounter are your own creation. You created them without knowing. You know why? Because much of your thought process is done unconsciously. Have you thought about that? Do you sometimes feel you're stuck and enclosed in a sort of a cage that you don't know what to do? Well, uncage yourself. This is your ultimate guide. The book is intended to help you interrogate your self-limiting habits and beliefs that hinder your growth and prevents you from achieving your potential. Break free from the self-made cages and prisons. Written in simple yet thought-provoking way, this book aims to help you unlock your next level in your health, wealth, and relationships. Get yourself a copy today. Nobody wants to be an obstacle to their success. Despite the great intention, much of the obstacles you encounter are your own creation. You created them without knowing. You know why? Because much of your thought process is done unconsciously. Have you thought about that? Do you sometimes feel you're stuck and enclosed in a sort of a cage that you don't know what to do? Well, uncage yourself. This is your ultimate guide. The book is intended to help you interrogate your self-limiting habits and beliefs that hinder your growth and prevents you from achieving your potential. Break free from the self-made cages and prisons. Written in simple yet thought-provoking way, this book aims to help you unlock your next level in your health, wealth, and relationships. Get yourself a copy today. Nobody wants to. Well, good morning and welcome to the broadcast. Unlike every other time, we usually bring you programs. Today is a different day altogether because we are coming to you live from the Rift Valley Innovation Center, where we are commissioning, or we are assisting one of us, a daughter of Baringo, to launch a book. I don't know the number of books that is written, but we are here together to get to know that. And you can see from the screen that we have a book that is displayed there. The name is Uncaged. And from the introduction you've heard, it is your ultimate guide to uncaging yourself, getting yourself to be free from the prisons that you've created without knowing. And Winnie, the author, is here today to give us the journey towards coming up with this book and being your ultimate guide. Then the ultimate person who wrote the book is here with us. Karibu sana, Winnie.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Uncaged, writing, and a swing from a teaching profession to being an author. Who is Winnie?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
My name is Winnie Tanui. I am a daughter of Baringo. Actually, I've been married to Baringo County, so I can say I'm among the mothers here. I'm a teacher by training, a B.Ed, but I've had a long journey in my career of about 17 years since I left university. That is in around 2002. So I've done other things. One of the interesting jobs I've done is being a public administrator with the government as a DO in Kitui Central.
DO?
Yes, in Kitui Central.
Oh, I didn't see that in you while I was doing my research. That's interesting.
Yes, so apart from that, I've done customer care, and then the last job I did was a human resource officer before I switched off to business. And then I realized that the best business I can do is the business of empowering people. And that's why I write.
The business of empowering people.
Yes.
I can imagine what sacrifice it takes to offload what is in your mind, put it in writing, have people to edit, and have it published as a book.
Yes.
You're talking about you inspiring people and helping other people to get to understand themselves. What inspires you? What inspired you to go into writing and not to continue with your teaching profession?
Okay, it's a long story, and it's more of a personal search, because I've been, from the time I was a teacher, I was in a B.Ed in a University of Nairobi, I always thought there's something more I need to do. And especially when I was in a class learning about psychology, I really like the idea of understanding human behavior.
Yeah.
So I think that has been at the back of my mind. So from teaching to public administration to human resource management, I've always felt there's something more, there's something more. And all this time I've just been following my heart, what we call following your heart. It led me to books, and I think from here I want to stay here for a while.
Does that mean that you managed to get yourself out of the cage, as you say?
Yes, it's true. It's actually more of a personal journey also. Yeah, it's borrowed from my life.
Well, back to writing again. How has your journey been? You've, I believe this is your second book now that we're about to launch today.
Yes.
How did it start? And being there, you've had the first book. I think it was in 2019.
Yes.
Maybe you can give us a brief description of how your journey was, because I'm sure there's someone who would want to write a book. They're seated somewhere watching us here. How has your journey been into writing it?
I can tell somebody who wants to write that if you want to write, just go ahead and write. And writing means just take a pen, just offload what is in your heart, because it's more about the heart more than the mind. Yeah, so you just write what is in your heart. What is your heart telling you? Get a book, start writing. There is no formula. Write and write. After you've got something substantial, you can now go to somebody who is ahead of you in this game and say, what can I do with all these ideas I've put down? So that is the simple process in book writing. I believe it's like anything else you do in life. What you want to do, just start doing. There's no formula.
Oh.
Yeah.
Again, there are quite a number of the types of genres of books that people write. There are thrillers, which can even be translated into movies sometimes. How do you describe yourself as a writer? What kind of a writer are you? Okay,
mine is just, I'm a personal development writer.
Personal development?
Yes, it's just about helping people be better. That really inspires me. And I like it when people tell me, give me feedback and say, what I write inspires them. That word inspire is like my guiding light. Just helping people be better. That is what I would want to do. And if you look at it very well, it's not far from teaching. I'm a daughter of teachers. My parents are teachers. Recently I was with them and I was telling them, I think I'm proudly a second generation teacher. As in, for us it's all about helping people. So it's just teaching, but in a different form. So it's not classroom teaching, but it's teaching you to be a better you.
Wow.
So I believe I'm still a teacher anyway.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, to the book, UNCAGE.
Yes.
And from the introduction, you could see some parrot trying to get themselves out of a cage. Of course, their cage was created, not self-created, as you say. Why the title? Even as we go into the book itself and the details, why did you come up with that name, the word UNCAGE? Why did you choose that word?
I think UNCAGE is all about, I think after doing a lot of research, and remember this writing journey, I started when I thought about I need to write, I started writing in the year 2017. So I've been thinking about human behavior, what somebody needs to do. Then I realized actually most of the cages, most of the things that we find are limitations. You know, sometimes you think there are things outside you. Actually, apparently, there are things within you. It is the things you create. And it is just about behavior, because human is about behavior. And human, unlike any other animal, is about thinking. So by thinking, you create behavior. And that behavior holds you captive. Sometimes you really feel like you should do something, but you feel helpless. It's a cage. And the beauty with it now, once you realize it's a cage, and you put yourself, then you have the power. In this book I've said, for me, I also realized later on that I was in a cage. I had locked myself. An interesting thing about this cage, you have the keys in your hands and you're wondering, nitatoka vipi? So it is about uncaging yourself. You have the power. That is the beauty. So the power is in your hands.
Wow. So you've had for yourself, you have the keys to unlocking those cages that have really kept you in somewhere that you may be feeling comfortable, or they're limiting you to moving from where you are to attaining your utmost potential. And talking about the keys, I'm sure right now you're already asking yourself maybe what kind of cages could you be in, and what kind of personality do you have that you may be leading you to the cages. And before we go into that, because she's here, she'll be telling us about the types of cages that we find ourselves in without knowing. I think you should be, for you who's watching, you have an opportunity of getting yourself a book, and there's a copy here which will be sent to you should you attain or meet a certain criteria which will be unveiling at the course of the conversation. And so don't leave the stream. Don't forget that there's a book that will be mailed to you after this once you win it. And for the questions that we'll ask and you get yourself to, or rather you find yourself answering it, or we get your comment to be the correct answer to the question that we'll ask, then you would be lucky. So don't get away from the stream. Keep watching and follow the conversation with me here, Winnie Tanui, who is the writer of the book that is going to be launched here today. Now, you've talked about cages and those which we create for ourselves. Are you able to point out some of the cages that we find ourselves in? Maybe even myself here, I'm in a cage and I don't know.
Yeah, so maybe we can just go to the book. We read the chapters. What the cages? The cages, that's why I say they are hidden because they look ordinary. They are the normal things actually. We don't think of them as stumbling blocks. You know, sometimes you might think these cages must be huge. There must be big things out there. But they are the small things within. And that's why I'm calling them, they are the hidden barriers.
How to break free from hidden barriers to success. So which page would you want us to go to?
The first, where it's written content.
Content.
Yeah. So a few of the cages include self-doubt. And self-doubt is key. And this one I can maybe, especially because I'm a woman, I'm proudly a woman writer, African writer. So when I think of myself as a woman, maybe, because I have the experience of being a woman, a lot of self-doubt. You're thinking, I want to do this, but you're like, what if? What will people think? Do I have the ability? Where did I come from? Like for me, I was born in a village, and I've been a village girl walking without shoes. And sometimes I am asking myself, this girl who started school without shoes, can she actually be a writer big enough? I'm like, maybe, maybe not. So you can imagine it's just thinking of yourself and thinking my background might be a limiting factor. So it's giving you self-doubt. Self-doubt. So self-doubt is one of them. The other one is the trap of constant worrying. Worrying looks like a simple thing. I remember, I can mention a story. I think my father-in-law was in my house a few weeks ago. So as we were writing the book and getting copies to edit, I gave him the book. And he said, it's interesting to know that worrying can actually be a trap. I don't know, it really caught his eyes. Because sometimes you think, worrying is good because when I'm worrying, I'm trying to think of solutions. But what worrying does actually is that when you worry, you stop thinking about solutions. And I think I'm a victim of that also. So you get stuck. Whenever we have a stream like this, when I'm engaged in a, let's say you want to start the stream live and things are not working, worries really keep me away from concentrating from what I need to do. And when you concentrate, you know the worst thing about worrying, and it's actually when you lack concentration, you don't find the best solutions. I see. So it looks simple, and many of us like worrying. And interestingly, even when we wake up in the morning, in fact, one of these interesting bits is I use myself even as an example. I think of my life and see, what would I have done better? Most people actually, interestingly, when they wake up in the morning, they think about yesterday problems. So it's like they replay the yesterday in today. So you're thinking, and you're waking up in the morning and you're thinking, man, was I owe Komen money. What do I do? And when you worry, now you're not thinking about how do I get money. You're worrying, I owe Komen money. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you are not thinking of the solution, but you're just repeating the problem. So it's like you're making it bigger and bigger. So
it becomes perpetual and
yes,
cyclic
and bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any other type of prison that we can find ourselves in?
I think the other one that I really found interesting is called, here in chapter 9, is called the snare of undefined priorities. As in, you've never defined really what you want in life. And most of us, I think, fall into this trap. And it's a problem, but maybe we didn't know, because many of us have never been in a situation or a class where we've been told you need goals. Yeah. In life, you need goals. Without goals, you're not moving anywhere. So unless one day you really sat yourself, what we say, kujita mkutano, and you said, okay, here I am. I am this, I'm a graduate, I'm 35 years old, I am a mother, I have 2 children, what do I want from this life? If you've never sat down with that, in such a meeting, most likely your priorities are not clear. And when you're not clear with what you want, then anything that comes in becomes your priority. Yeah. So you're open, you're just like an open stream here online. So imagine you're like an open radio station. You don't have your own what you want to channel, you are receiving everything. That wouldn't work, it will be confusion. So many of us fall into that trap.
I think that resonates with when we had our first phone conversation, there's something that was very captivating, and I actually had to put it down. And you said you can go where you want, what you want, where you can go to where you want, be what you want, but again, it starts with yourself.
Where are you going? That's the question.
And there's been a very trendy issue that has been moving online, and everybody has been saying happiness and even being orderly in what you're doing is an inside job.
Yes, and I know many people have accused motivational speakers of liking the word inside job. It looks like a cliche. Yeah, that we like motivational speaker like inside job. Yeah. But for sure it's about where you're going. Imagine you woke up in the morning, we are here in Ravine. You've gone to the stage. At the stage of Ravine, there are vehicles going to Nairobi, going to Eldoret, Kabarnet, wherever. Imagine you've not decided where you're going. So what happens when you are at the stage? You don't know which matatu to actually hop in. Yeah. So that's what happens when you've not defined your priorities. So it is very, very critical. Define where you're going. Then it becomes easier. You know, if I'm going to Kabarnet, you just go and hop into a matatu going to Kabarnet, or you can take a boda to Kabarnet. It's clear you have a destination. Yeah. And in life, you actually need a destination. It will look like, how do I define where I'm going? Yeah. I don't know what the future holds. But you see what? Humans create their life. That is the beauty. God gave us ability to create our future. Yeah. And that's why you need God to walk with you in the journey. But if you've not defined, then even God gets confused. Where do I take you?
I see.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you feel what I'm feeling with regards to what the insights that she's giving us. And if you feel that this book, as a preview that has been given, is speaking to you, maybe you can give us a reason, give us an ultimate reason as to why this book belongs, or rather rightfully, or you deserve to be given this book. We are giving it out as a gift from our desks today. And if you think that Winnie is speaking to you, can you write a small paragraph? Give us a good reason as to why you should be given this book. Specify where you're from. Then our team here will go through those comments, maybe the first one, and that which is convincing enough. Even our guest here will be able to go through some of your comments and make a decision as to who deserves to be given the book. So go to the comment section, write your comment, give a reason as to why you deserve to be given this book today. Then we will get back to you and announce the winner, or rather the person who deserves this book, at the end of the show. And before we continue, while I was reading the first pages of this book, there's a point which highlights that there are there could be two types of cages. There are those that are within us, and there are those that are defined by the society. Are you able to take us through these two types? Because, you know, when you're in the village, there's a way the village requires you to behave
yeah,
or to carry out yourself. And internally as well, the way I was brought up, there are things that I can't do because of how I was brought up. Maybe you can delve into that. Somebody can be able to differentiate the two and also relate. And of course, in the long run, they would want to have this book as their guide to get themselves out of that problem.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. So in this book, I've defined, there's a place I read, there are two types of cages. One is societal, because we live in a society. We are not isolated. You are you. As much as you want to uncage yourself, you can only uncage yourself within the limit of the wider society. And there's a reason why humans are in a society. A wider society is important because it gives us the comfort. In fact, as a human being, if you actually sent away from a society, you'd find it's a very lonely place. And that's why, like in the African traditional society, what used to happen if somebody has misbehaved or somebody has killed somebody, what they used to do is used to be sent away from the society. That's just enough punishment, because if you are out of the social support, you're actually alone, and it is very hurting. So there's the society. I'm not saying we need to be rebels. I'm not encouraging rebellion, but I'm encouraging us to really rethink, because any society has advanced because of people who've been able to really think and wonder, is this culture, is this our way of life necessary in this generation that we live in? And that is why every generation have permission to rethink and think about. And the people who've been able to change society are people who've been able to think about what is happening and rethink of a better way of doing things. Simple things, even just, let's say even agriculture. I was brought up in Nzoia, and I know many people in Nzoia plant maize, and the people here plant even potatoes. Interestingly, people get ideas of how to plant potatoes from their fathers. So you'd find what we've been using as standard way of planting potatoes is something that our grandfathers did 20 years ago. So sometimes it really needs us to rethink, is this the best way of planting even basic things like planting potatoes and many other behaviors. So we need to really think. But I know that is a wider debate, but I'm saying start with you. That's why in this book, I was differentiating, but I went forth more about personal, because you have the power to change yourself more than change society.
Wow. So you've had it, and I think that even gives you more ideas on how well you will frame your statement so that you can stand the chance of getting yourself a free copy, courtesy of this desk, Baringo News, and of course where we are streaming live from, it is the Rift Valley Innovation Center, and their facilities are the ones that are enabling us to come to you live right from a remote place in Baringo County, where high-speed internet is available, where people are empowered to access free internet and resources that can assist also in doing their research and maybe getting to break away from the cages of fearing of the fear of even reading books. And maybe I should also confess that I'm not a very good reader, and that could also be another prison for me to get myself out. Though I can assure our viewers that whenever I focus, or rather I decide to go for a book, I consume it to the very end. So don't you think that I'm a poor reader, and be one like me. So let's
can I add that? We've been accused as Africans that if you want to hide anything from an African, hide it in a book. But I think that one we need to come out of that cage.
We are getting
I think that is the cage we need to come out from today. We are Africans, yes, but we are beginning to read. Because when we read, we get the knowledge. So we are coming out of that cage. Even you are uncaging from that.
I'm uncaging myself. Well, the journey into writing this book, and maybe we can go back to your first book. Dare to be you. It sounds like you're addressing a person. Is this a series?
Not really, but actually looking at these books, they seem to build on one another, because books, I think books knowledge, I don't know, it's like what? It's like a journey to me. Writing, I realize it's a journey because they build on one another. So the ideas, because even for me when I sit back and write, because it takes a while to write a book. Actually, it takes me about 3 years to write a book.
3 years?
Yes.
And this is only 164 pages.
Yeah.
So on average, it's like you're spending 10 days to refine a page.
Oh my, okay. I've never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it takes a while for it to come out. And anyway, again, it's a new journey for me. I'm starting to learn how to write. I'm sure by the time now I'm writing my 15th book, because I'm hoping to write more, it will be much easier. Because what I do when I write ideas that come to me, and most of them I use the story of my life, because I'm just uncaging also myself. I told you, from a village girl to this girl who's done so many, the interesting thing about my CV, if I look at my CV, I have too many careers. In fact, somebody was asking me another day, what exactly do you do? And I was like, okay, I'm not even sure what I do myself. So I was in that trap of undefined priorities, because my career journey is from education to public administration to customer care to training to human resource management. So the journey is, so I was in a trap, I realized, of undefined priorities. What do I really want? Yeah. So when I look at my life, I can actually sit and say, how would I have done it better with these ideas that I'm now getting? Because to be a writer, I have to be a reader. So for me, I read almost every day. It's like an addiction. That's
manifested on your book, because there are quite a number of sightings that you've made.
Yes, I read
from various sources.
Yes, I read a lot. And in fact, like this year, I've been reading books that are 100 years old. I want to see Shakespeare in the 1880. What was going on in Shakespeare's mind? Yeah. There's a poet called Rumi, who was in the 13th century. So I read to understand how has knowledge been coming along the ages, because it helps me get a base. So as I read and write, and I'm like, so what would have been the best way of handling even my career? Because for me, I believe work is critical for any person, and especially for male. If you're a man and if you're not really clear of what you do in your life, it affects even how you relate.
Sure.
Yes, to people.
And talking about you researching and looking at things from the perspective that you would have dealt with at a personal level, are you trying to say that these books that you write, they are a product of what is happening within you?
Yes.
Unashika mkutano with yourself.
I know.
Then you give us in form of a book.
And
is that what you're saying?
Yes, it is.
Then how does it feel when you say you spend 3 years in writing this book? Do you sometimes write it, urudi tena, you rub it, edit, re-edit?
Yes, I have so many notebooks in my house. I write, I rewrite, and after writing, after some time, I just leave it. I can leave it for I leave it actually for about more than 6 months. I don't go back to the book. I can be writing another book, because now I'm writing another book and another book. So I leave this one all alone. When I come back now reading like any reader with fresh eyes. And I actually can see gaps.
So with the 6 months, have you ever stood a risk of losing a manuscript? Do you write it on paper or
Yes. I used to write it on papers until I decided, because I have my ideas all over my house. Sometimes I go back to a drawer and I'm like, this would have been a good idea in a book. Why is it in a... So I decided to be buying notebooks so that it's easier. So I write, so that if it's an UNCAGE book, I write.
So with the 6 months, I'm looking at the risk of you losing, because we're looking at the journey here, 3 years. Write kidogo, leave it for 6 months. You've never lost some content at some point?
But I have faith that whatever comes out at the end of it is what needed to be in that book, because it's about a bit of faith.
What has been your worst moment while traveling the journey of coming up with a book?
My worst moment is actually, as you said, losing ideas. Ideas that would have been in a book, and they've been left out. But the beauty about leaving it again is the clarity. The clarity of thought. When you leave it and come back to it, you come back with so much fresh eyes that you find the book is also speaking to me now, not as a writer, but now it's like I'm a reader. And I'm reading these things and I'm like, wow, this is what I should have done earlier. And because anyway, again, when I'm writing these books, I'm no longer a very young lady. Yeah. I think this journey of writing books, I've started it, the first book I launched when I turned 40. And there's the magic of saying life begins at 40. I think that is a true testimony.
I think I would really love to turn 40 someday and feel how life begins, because I don't know what kind of life we are living ourselves who are yet
before 40.
Well, that was interesting, and to you who's watching, we are about to head into another phase. At some point, Winnie will have a moment to read a page of this book. I feel that will be interesting. We get to feel how the words come from her mouth, and of course the thought process into herself reading what she has done. Does it bore you sometimes reading what you've written?
Not really. I find it interesting. I don't know, for some strange reason.
You know, with what we do at Baringo News, I usually write a story and I find it very difficult to go back to edit. And at times you're the writer and you're the editor.
Yeah.
Now, about editing, before we go into the next phase, are there people, I'm sure there are people whom you've well, sorry for that technical hitch. I was being informed there was an issue that was being sorted out. We are about to go on a break. Sometimes I was giving my story, writing the story, and at the same time being the editor.
Yeah.
It gets difficult at times, and I would be keen to know also on your side. You've written these things, you live with them for 6 months. Do you find some level of laziness trying to go back
yes,
to them?
That's why I need help. Actually, this book is a product of help from so many people.
Well, and to the bit of getting that help, we'd love to have these people. I believe you've arranged with them.
Yeah.
We have a link that your editor.
Yeah.
How many editors did you
I
work
have
with?
some people who are proofreading for me. Yeah, who will come in and explain.
Well, we'd love to hear that, and to the audience, you would also want to know what people who have read this book are saying about it, so that you can also get yourself a reason to really want to buy this book. And this book, it's already available. Maybe we can mention that before we go on a break.
Yes, it's available on, there's a place called Book Launch.
Book Launch?
Yeah, but you can also order directly through me. Yeah. And we will arrange with my group of the people we work with for the book to reach you.
So as we go on a break, you realize that this book is already out. You can not even pre-ordering, you can actually buy. There's a number that is running at the bottom of your screen. It is 0745 353526. That's the phone number that you can contact to get yourself a copy. And I believe it's not you who's picking that call, because people are listening right now and they would want to make a call or even text to make an order. So we go on a break. When we come back, we would be listening to the people who have proofread this book, and they would have an opinion to it, and also they would give an insight. There are those who have read even the first book and they are giving an opinion on or a review on this new book, UNCAGE. And after the break as well, we would be having her to read her section of the book. Then we would be heading to the tail end of our conversation. See you after the break. Nobody wants to be an obstacle to their success. Despite the great intention, much of the obstacles you encounter are your own creation. You created them without knowing. You know why? Because much of your thought process is done unconsciously. Have you thought about that? Do you sometimes feel you're stuck and enclosed in a sort of a cage that you don't know what to do? Well, uncage yourself. This is your ultimate guide. The book is intended to help you interrogate your self-limiting habits and beliefs that hinder your growth and prevents you from achieving your potential. Break free from the self-made cages and prisons. Written in simple yet thought-provoking way. This book aims to help you unlock your next level in your health, wealth, and relationships. Get yourself a copy today. Nobody wants to be an obstacle to their success. Despite the great intention, much of the obstacles you encounter are your own creation. You created them without knowing. You know why? Because much of your thought process is done unconsciously. Have you thought about that? Do you sometimes feel you're stuck and enclosed in a sort of a cage that you don't know what to do? Well, uncage yourself. This is your ultimate guide. The book is intended to help you interrogate your self-limiting habits and beliefs that hinder your growth and prevents you from achieving your potential. Break free from the self-made cages and prisons. Written in simple yet thought-provoking way, this book aims to help you unlock your next level in your health, wealth, and relationships. Get yourself a copy today. Nobody wants to be an obstacle to their success. Despite the great intention, much of the obstacles you encounter are your own creation. You created them without knowing. You know why? Because much of your thought process is done unconsciously. Have you thought about that? Do you sometimes feel you're stuck and enclosed in a sort of a cage that you don't know what to do? Well, uncage yourself. This is your ultimate guide. The book is intended to help you interrogate your self-limiting habits and beliefs that hinder your growth and prevents you from achieving your potential. Break free from the self-made cages and prisons. Written in simple yet thought-provoking way, this book aims to help you unlock your next level in your health, wealth, and relationships. Get yourself a copy today. Nobody wants to be an obstacle to them. Unaanza na audience. Welcome back, and sorry for keeping you for the break. I hope you did not leave the stream because 3 things are going to happen after this, or rather during this break that we've come from. A book will be given out. Our guest will have a chance to read the book. Our audience who are here with us today also will give their views on the book, because we are in the presence of, we have an audience with us here. And finally, we'll also have to get reviews or views from the people who have read this book, those who proofread the book, those who helped in editing the book, and even maybe adding a few ideas or superimposing some of the points that may not have been clear from the onset. So don't you leave the stream. Now, to you, Winnie.
Yes.
It's your chance to read a chapter or a section of the chapter of this book. I don't know where you'll be heading to. Maybe you can also direct me there so that I can follow as you read.
Thank you very much. So I think it is a challenge for me to decide which one is actually that punchline, because I believe everything here is punch word. So I'll go to chapter 2.
Chapter 2.
Chapter 2, the beginning says, you are your habits. You are your habits. It starts with a quote and says, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. That is by Aristotle. So most of the things each individual does in a day are a result of programmed physical and mental routine. For example, you wake up, brush your teeth, take a shower, and do many things in the same sequence every day. The routine is in your mind, and you faithfully follow it without thinking about why you do that each passing day. The routine is what forms a habit. So that is what we call a habit. Any slight deviation from the normal routine or interruptions of one habit leaves one disoriented. Habits are the building blocks of success or failure. Yet, despite the importance of habits, few people know how they function as individuals and what drives them. This applies to all areas of a person's life, including relationship, personal development or lack of it, social habits, and every other aspect that is unique in an individual. An American Journal of Psychology defines a habit as more or less a fixed way of thinking, willing, or feeling acquired through previous repetition of mental experience. A habit is said to be a redundant set of automatic and conscious thought and behavior and emotions that are acquired through frequent repetition. Once a habit has been formed, your body seems to have acquired a mind of its own, and it can do a task without involving the conscious part of the brain. And this is what is referred to being in autopilot. So, can continue?
Do you feel imefika kwenye inafaa ifike?
I guess it is.
Being the punch.
Yeah, it starts because it starts by, why we say you're on autopilot is you've repeated things, so you wake up and do things that you don't question. Yeah. So in this book, we are trying to help you to question your autopilot mode. Why do I do this? Should it be the best way of doing? So everything that we are saying here in UNCAGE is questioning your autopilot mode of living, yeah. The things you are used to doing. Yeah. When somebody tells you something, why do you get even annoyed? For example, when you're walking, like when you walk in Nairobi, yeah. There are so many people in Nairobi, everybody seems to be in some hurry of some sort. I don't know where they usually go, yeah. But everybody, so imagine when you're walking in the street and somebody brushes you, what happens? You automatically get hungry. Yeah. And it seems normal, you should be hungry. But have you ever asked yourself, why are you getting hungry? Why? Why are you annoyed? Because you're thinking, kwa nini ananigonga? Because the question you would find, if you ask yourself why, you'd be realizing, in your mind unauliza kwa nini ananidharau. So the question is not, kwa nini umenigonga? The question is, kwa nini ananidharau? Why is he hating on me? Why would somebody want to just hit me? Does he think, no, especially if you're a woman, you get so annoyed. You're like, because he's a man, he's knocking me. But if you look further down, you'd realize that might not actually be the cause. But suppose you met somebody and they explained to you, oh, I'm sorry, I was running to hospital. I have a sick daughter in hospital. What happens? The anger just goes down. Yeah. So sometimes you realize, even in things that make you hungry, the question of why you are hungry is not really why. The question is what you're thinking. You're thinking, why is somebody hating on me? And especially the word, kwa nini ananidharau? And it is very common in our lingo, daily lingo.
Yeah.
Even in Kalenjin, we say ngasasa. Why? Ameniona aje. So why are you getting this idea that amekudharau? Because aje kuambia. He hasn't told me, by the way, Komen, I hate you, that's why I'm knocking you. No, you've just thought about it, you've acted on it. Yeah. So when you interrogate your behavior, you realize what you think is not what is there. There's something more.
And I think that really brings about how we are neat. I think we are made to see the other side of things, not the positive side.
Yeah. So there's only one side, and usually the one side is not.
And even in the Bible, I think it really dwells a lot on bringing the positive thoughts and actions out of us, which means from the onset, human beings have a problem of seeing the negatives or even going towards the wrong side of things. Well, you've read a bit of chapter 2 and you've heard how captivating it is. And moving forward, you'll notice that as you continue to read this book, it helps you to interrogate yourself. Beyond interrogating yourself, you get to be given a possible solution. And I think that's a unique part about this book, which Madam Winnie says that it is a personal development kind of a book. Beside helping you to realize who you are and what is inside you with regards to the cages that you are in, you get to have a possible solution, a way out.
Yes.
And like just preaching to you, getting you to a level of realization and leaving you there.
Yeah, you feel high, your left is called high and dry.
And you get yourself into a situation which is a risk. You can fall down and never to recover.
Sure.
So this one gives you an opinion or a possible solution which is well researched. I can see quite a number of citations, books dating as far as the 19th century, the 18th century, as you said. You're reading even books that were written hundreds of years ago, which I feel Winnie is doing us a favor by going into the darkest places and picking the best of what we need to consume. Our technical team, do we have someone ready to join the live stream? Well, the people who have read this book, who have assisted Winnie to write this book, they are yet to join us. Maybe we can just continue. And we can go through a few comments that have come through on our social media platforms. And to you who has taken time to give your thought or your opinion or to justify whether this book deserves to be given to you, we shall be able to give a verdict before the end of the conversation. But first, let's have a look at a few of your comments. Does anyone have pre-prepared comments? Maybe you can hand them over to me so that we can go through them. And in the meantime, to our audience who are here with us today, maybe if there's something that you would feel you would want to share with the audience who have joined us remotely, maybe you can put your thoughts, your thought process together. Someone is ready to join? So as we wait for
studio
audience, for the audience to be given the microphone, maybe I can read out a few comments that have come across. I can see Haron Rotich. You're asking how much would the book be? Maybe you can answer that.
Oh, the book is 1,200 shillings.
1,200 shillings.
Yeah, 1,200.
So it's not much. It's just $10.
Yes.
Is
yeah,
that?
Around $10.
Yeah, $10.
Yeah.
So we put it in USD so that we don't find it to be a bit expensive.
Yeah.
We had to do it in Kenya shillings. Yeah. Janet Wawire, she's saying congratulations.
Thank you.
Rose Chepkoech, congrats Winnie. Zach Kano, you're saying congratulations, good work.
Thank you.
Ahura Alex, you're saying all the best, Madam Winnie, in pursuing your dreams. I'll be reading more of your comments as we go by, but in the meantime, let's get to hear from what one of our audience has to say.
Thank you.
Karibu sana. What's your name?
My name is Emmanuel.
Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Just Emmanuel?
I'm Emmanuel Kimboy.
A
student in Moi University.
Well, what brings you here today?
We heard of our sister who is launching a new book. And from today we have come from the word UNCAGE. That is when we come to at least hear from her mouth what this thing means, actually, to engage oneself.
And now that you've heard her speak about this book, what can you say about the book? I'm sure you have something to say.
Yeah, actually, from what we have heard speaking to us, it's actually inspired us that we have many things that is undermining us from pursuing what we have in life. One of the things I've heard from her is that doubt is one of the things that is making us not to proceed or success in life.
Yeah.
And that is something many people doubt themselves of doing something. And our sister has actually impressed us by telling us this thing can be unlocked by oneself. It is not a must that somebody from outside can come to unlock their success, but you yourself, you have to keep on with yourself.
Thank
well,
you.
before you go and sit, what do you study at the Moi University?
I studied education as a teacher.
Which subjects would you be taking?
I'm taking maths, chemistry.
Maths and chemistry. Now, looking at what you're doing in school and what you've learned from this book, and let me believe that you'll spare a few of your help money to buy this book. What is your takeaway, aside from learning that doubts would hinder you from proceeding to achieving your success? What is that specific thing that you are picking and relating to what you're doing right now?
From the major comments, major themes that our sister has highlighted from the book UNCAGE, I personally, as I'm in the university level, I've learned that many things like undividing priorities of oneself to pursue the career you have is what is hindering us to, and doubting that you are not actually a teacher. You know, you have to believe yourself that you are a teacher. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, and we hope you will spare a few coins from... I was seeing Babu Owino, the MP for the youth, was saying that the money has been disbursed. Let me believe that you will spare that money to buy this book. It only goes for 1,200 Kenya shillings. Do we have a lady from the audience? So we balance the gender. You still have something to add? Maybe? It looks like I'm knocking you out.
It's just to thank our sister for empowering us right here in home, and I urge my fellow colleagues to support and to cheer up and get what is inside that book. I'm eager to read that book to know what is inside it.
Great. Thank you. Well, if we have a lady, we don't have a lady for now. Okay, maybe they are warming up because I can see quite a number of them there. When the camera will be turned, you'll get to see them. From the feedback we are getting from one of our audience, she's referring to you so much as our sister. What kind of relationship have you built with these people?
Oh, that's a hot one. For me, I look at the people here because this is a place I've been married to. So I feel I am the mothers around here. Yeah, so I look at them as sons and daughters, especially the young people. And as I told you, I think I qualify now to be among the seniors. So I look at them as sons and daughters and actually aim. Sometimes we have forums where we talk with them just to encourage them and inspire them because we want them to be uncaged. Yeah, just pursue their dreams. There's so much. This country is full of opportunities, actually. If you look at it, if you look at this country, there are a lot of opportunities. Why are there opportunities? Because there are many problems. Where there are every problem is actually a seed.
And begets a solution.
It's a solution. So it means you just need to identify a problem, work on it, find a solution, and the opportunities. So that is the beauty of the stage we are in. So when we see young people, especially for me, when I see people who are in their 20s, I see people who are growing up in a very good time. I mean, where you're living in a village and there's internet. I mean, some of us, when we were young, you had to write a letter to a friend. Now there's internet. I mean, the world just came where you are. That means you just need to tap. So I see young people as privileged. They are living in the best of times.
I would encourage you to continue keeping touch with the society. That's a clear proof that you have touch with the people around. Because for him, I think, could be between 20 and 25 years old. And if you have touch with such people, then it means you have touch with the society. So keep doing that. And even I think it's also a challenge for some of us. Some people are turning out to be strangers in their own village. So if the village is celebrating you, and this is where we are launching the book today, then it means you have touch with them. I'm not sure if we've managed to get someone on board. If there's been a challenge, I think there's a book review which has been written by one of the people. I can read that. Part of the book, there's someone called Monica Wangeshi. She's giving her thoughts about the book. And she's saying, after reading Dare to Be You, Dare Be You, Greatness Awaits. That was your first book, right?
Yes.
I knew Winnie's book would definitely be a bombshell. And Cage is exactly that. So it's a bombshell. This is a book that will inspire and start to... This is a book that will inspire and stir you to shift your mind and shift your mindset from an imaginary self-limiting cage and from an average mediocre mentality. Her tenets of wisdom shared here will make you to break free and take you through a journey to enable you to do great exploits, and will enable you to do great exploits according to your God-given potential. That is Monica Wangeshi. She's a finance and investment professional. Not sure if there's another one here. Let me read from Job, who was supposed to join us. UNCAGE is a practical masterpiece in self-liberation. It offers a self-unchaining menu that is devoid of high-sounding positive affirmations that take the reader to a world of fantasy and false freedom. This is a well-researched piece of art from an accomplished and budding coach and a mentor. People who seek to unfetter themselves from self-imprisonment will find an invaluable and expansive goldmine in UNCAGE. So you'll get an expansive goldmine should you read this book. That is an opinion from Job Tabakori. And he continues to say that instead of laying the blame on some enemy out there, Winnie places the buck where it rightfully belongs. The inmate's thoughts, feelings, and actions. That is what keeps you away, or rather bars you from going on with your journey to your success. This is a fulfilling read that is not limited to age, race, or status in life. And that brings me back to asking you who your audience target is. But we will get back to that. Let me finish. It is a buffet with enough serving for everyone. Breathe and unsuffocate yourself as you savor the wealth in each page and chapter, and shake yourself and let us meet yonder in the land of free, or in the land of the free. You have been given the keys. Open your prison doors. That is the feedback or the review from Job Tabakori. He's a teacher, an author, and an editor. I believe he's one of the people who touched this book before it went to the print.
Yes, please.
Well, so those are the feedback we would have gotten from the people from the remote platform that is Google Meet. We were supposed to use that, but It looks like the technical challenges that we were facing here earlier are also facing them. You notice that we started the show a bit late. We were supposed to start at around 9:30, but it took us another 1 hour, 30 minutes to get ourselves started. I'm seeing the microphone is being set up. Is there someone who would be giving feedback before we continue? Any other person? No. So now to the audience, whom are you targeting with this book?
Yeah, there's an audience I'm targeting.
Yeah.
And I would like to call them, there are 4 words I like to use. And especially this book is helping the area of work, because I believe once you've engaged yourself in the area of work and you truly know what you need to do with your life, as in you wake up every morning and you're sure that I'm doing what I need to do, it jumpstarts you. You are in the right path. It's easier to deal with the relationship. It's easier to deal with money if the career and the work is right. So I'm writing this audience for anybody who's never been hired and is looking to be hired. You've been in a place where you're looking for work, you can't find work. We will help you interrogate what you need to do to be hired. There's another audience. These are people who are around 30-something years of age. These are people who've done everything by the book. They've gone to school, they've done what they were told, ukisoma, you'll get a nice job. They've done that, gone to university, they've been hired, but at some point they are feeling tired. They are like, is this what I want to do until I'm 60? So you're just tired with what you do. Actually, it is good to question the tiredness. So if you're tired, or if you've just been fired, because being fired means you're not offering your very best. And it's not a bad thing. It just tells you probably you're in the wrong path. And it's about time to rethink your priorities. So if you've never been hired, if you're tired, if you've been fired, and if you've retired and you don't feel tired.
So if you've been fired, you've retired, you don't feel tired, then
or you've never been hired.
Or you've never been hired,
yes.
Then you are the target audience.
Yes.
Practically, if you've never been hired, it means it is us, the youth, who may be out of college and we are looking for jobs. So you are the immediate target audience. So you are the best candidate for this book. If you've also been hired and maybe you're not tired in your job, or you are tired and you need something to inspire or even help you improve your productivity, then this is something you need to, or rather this is your guide to having a better you at your workplace. And if you're retired as well, doesn't mean that you're tired.
You're tired,
so you need to get to discover yourself by looking at this guide, and also your previous book. It is You're Daring
to Be You.
To be you. So beyond work, there's still a part of you until your time here on earth is determined.
And you have to always be busy.
Well, I was waiting for the comments. Let's read them. Let's read through. Then we see who deserves the book. My colleague, have you sent the comments? I need the comments from the, maybe we can see what people are saying, and I can see one which has been sent here. Boaz, are there more comments? We can have a look at them. There is a gentleman called Boaz Komen. I'm not sure if this is my brother. I'm not very sure because names on social media are very are common. He's saying, my name is Boaz Komen. I believe the book UNCAGE is timely to me. As a graduate, I tend to find myself in many cages as I try to find my niche outside university. Hence, the book UNCAGE is a good manual to uncage myself.
Thank you.
Do you think he qualifies to get the book?
Yes.
Well, to you, Boaz Komen. Oh, there's another comment here. Okay. So are you guys trying to make us give the judgment here live on the broadcast? So let me finish with the Boaz. He's saying the book UNCAGE is a good manual to me to uncage myself. I look forward to UNCAGE. Congratulations, Winnie, and hashtag UNCAGE. Festo Korir. It looks like you'll have to give out 2 books here.
Okay.
I couldn't agree more. When you are disconnected, to you, it blocks energy, and it's energy that connects you to the entire life.
Make sure.
Great insights. I'm in a journey to rebuilding myself, and the book will be of help.
Sounds like he's on a journey, sure.
Well, those are the 2 people who have gotten to give their thoughts and to justify why they need these 2 books. For now, we can be sure that we'll give it to 1 person. And to you, Festo, I think it will take the grace of Winnie to get you another copy as you've requested. Okay. Well, with us here is a preacher, a person who ministers the word of God from around, and yes. I believe she's in the. Is it a she or a he?
It's a she.
She is in the midst of the audience, and she ministers, or rather, she serves with the AIC Mwachon.
Yes, please.
That's your church, right?
Yes, that's my local church.
Yeah, I remember when we were organizing this event, you're saying that you'll tag along your pastor.
Yes.
And from the first book, there were so many sightings of Bible verses. It looks like there's a bit of God in what you write.
A lot of God.
Would you want to talk about that before the pastor comes?
Yes. I believe it's all about, actually it starts and ends with God. Yeah. If you don't have the right connection with the Creator who gives you the potential, then you lose. You'll not be able to understand. So the book is actually anchored on the Word of God all the way. So there's a lot of God in the book also. Yeah.
Well, and I think at this moment we will welcome the pastor to give her thoughts. She's part of our audience here, and she will help us to relate between the good book and what you're writing.
Thank you.
Karibu sana.
Okay, my name is Pastor Nancy, and I want to thank God this afternoon because of the launching of the second book for my sister. This is John and Tanui. With me, I'm going to talk much about the first book because actually I have not gone deeper to the new book, the UNCAGE. So with the first book, There Be You. It seems Mrs. John was just writing to help me as a pastor, because when I read that book, it really helped me with the work that I'm doing, that is pastoral work. Sometimes while I was doing the work as a pastor, there are some of the things which made me to go down, but the moment I read that book, I felt an encouragement. I felt inspired, and even today, I'm never the same because of the book, There Be You. I used to fear sometimes even to serve, especially the male side. But because of the book, I was really encouraged, and I find that whatever God had put in my heart, I should never fear, because the book, There Be You, I knew there was something in my heart that was really wanted me to serve every humanity. And that book, I thank God, because it's as if it opened a door for me to know how to do some of the things I used to fear. Now I don't. So it's my prayer always, and I always pray for Winnie, my sister. If there is anybody who is an elder, I always pray for is Winnie, because she has really encouraged me. And I was even praying that wherever is going to write another book, let it be a book that is also going to make me again go higher and higher. And it is really, the book and Cage is really making me to come out of the African traditional, which is really a problem even in the church. Especially we women. There are some of the work we are being refused because we are just women. But to me, I just feel we are all sons of God. There is no, in heaven, I believe there will be no women, no man. We shall just be the same. And this book has really helped me so much. So I just want to tell the audience, let us continue reading this book, even the upcoming book. Let us continue reading it because it will really unlock some of the things which are potential in us. Otherwise, I thank God because of this day. I've never been in a launching of a book. This is my first time. I really thank God so much. I'm happy. And I say, may the Lord bless us all, and may the Lord be with us. God bless you so much.
Before you go, Pastor.
Yes.
Comparing it with the Bible.
Yes.
There are books that are motivational. Where do the ideas, or rather the thoughts by the breath of God in the Bible and the ideas by human beings, where do they meet? What can you say about that?
The ideas of people with that of God. It seems surely whatever our sister is writing is really what God wants us to be. Because with the mind of God, God has got good plans for each and every person. Yeah. And when you see this book, especially the book There Be You, it really wants to show you that really God has got a plan for you in life. And therefore, this book, when you compare with the Word of God, it really matches. It is as if it is one. Well, speaking one thing.
Those are the thoughts by our pastor here. So should you feel that you'd want to make a comparison, you've gotten the comparison from the people who have gone to study the Bible, and they have an opinion about this book. They are not very far from each other. So dare to get yourself a copy and uncage yourself. Yes. So let's sing it with the prayer. Thank you, Pastor. Yes. Combining these ideas from this book with a prayer, then it means you're surely going to get some, let me call it some redemption, because you're combining God and good thoughts from a person who has researched, and from what the pastor is saying, you're being used by God to speak to these people. Amen. So in so many words, you're preaching to us.
Sure, thanks.
Well, let me acknowledge the people who have been watching us since the beginning of this broadcast. I can see Ben Mwenja. You're saying, well done, Winnie. Boaz comment, maybe before, I wouldn't repeat your comment, but congratulations for getting yourself a copy of this book. Festo Korir, you're saying the intro of the book is on another level. I believe you're referring to that video. Thank you. David Maraba, you're saying good job, Winnie.
Thank you.
Haron Rotich, how much is the book and where can I pick it up? So to you, Haron, I think Winnie gave that answer. The book goes at 1,200 shillings, yeah. And you can call the phone number that is running on your screen. However, I can read it to you. It is 0745 353526. Make a call, place your order, and with the details that you'll give, it will be shipped to where you are. Janet Wawire, congratulations, Winnie. Zach Kano, good job, Winnie, and all the best.
Thank you.
Joseph Keegan, good progress, all the best.
Thank you.
I think these are people who have been following what you're doing and they're seeing progress in what you're doing.
Thank you.
Josie Tanui, Winnie, congratulations, and we are proud of you.
Wow.
Chinyere Meru, this is so encouraging. Thank you so much, Winnie. Those are comments that we are drawing from Baringo News. I'm sure there are other comments from other platforms. However, we may not be able to go through all of them. But what we can only say is thank you for sticking around for the entire period that we are having this broadcast up to now. Now, before we conclude, you've touched about the audience. It's practically anybody
yeah.
who is still alive on this earth and they are looking forward to a new day tomorrow.
Sure.
Now, with your journey, with your experience, and also the professional background, you do coaching.
Yes.
What is that thing that you would want to tell anyone who's watching right now before we conclude?
Oh, thank you. So I think the last bit, the job I do now is actually I'm a coach. I'm a certified life coach.
Yeah.
And I believe it goes well with the book and everything. It's about personal development, actually. That is all lessons. I wake up every day to encourage somebody to rise up, to move from where they are to where they want to be, because the idea that there's somewhere you want to go is enough proof that you should just go. That is the point. If anybody was looking for a sign that I need to move from where I am, is what your heart is telling you, enough of where you are. So apart from writing, I also do public speaking on the same matter of personal development, just encouraging people, inspiring people to move. And then I do life coaching. Life coaching is an interesting kind of thing. It is almost related to counseling, but in life coaching, what we do as life coaches, we walk with something like a torch. We don't want to walk your journey because we don't know your journey. And nobody actually knows your journey because you are unique. So we point to you light on your direction so that you can walk. So when you come to a life coach with a coach like me, we'll just come and discuss what do you want to do. And then help you figure out how you go there. So most of us need cheerleaders, and you know, life coaching stems from coaching of sports. And you'll tell you, people here run, and nobody can win a gold medal without a coach. Nobody wakes up, runs in the village, and then goes to Berlin to win. You need a coach. So that is the same. Do you want to achieve something? Do you want to move somewhere? You want to be a writer? Do you want to move from being just level where you are to be a leader? A life coach helps you so that they can coach you to bring out what is in you. So that is all about life coaching. That's what I do on a day-to-day basis. That was something I was to ask in the end, and I think you've really delved into it. And after listening to what this book is all about, my feeling is these books are a byproduct of what you do. Yes. Initially, you're saying that you were wondering, you didn't know what to really do. And you're citing your CV being spread all over. Education, administration, HR, customer care representative, and now into writing. Are you saying you've found your focus? Yes, I do. I wake up every day now feeling excited. I feel that I'm doing what God sent me, because I believe everything is divine. I believe I do what God sent me to do, just help other people be the best they are. And I'm excited to do that every day. And in the traditional African society, and I think it is also superimposed in a Swahili proverb, mganga hajigangi. Did you get yourself a coach so you can discover yourself? Yes, somebody coached me. Somebody coached me, and interestingly, I went to a life coach, and you know, he told me, what do you want to do? I told him, I'd like to inspire people. I'd like to, he told me, have you heard yourself talking about inspiring almost 6 times in this conversation? So the guiding, because it's the thing that is in me. So somebody had to coach me. And when I realized, actually, with the help of somebody, you can come out of a cage, I want to help others to uncage also. Wow, that brings us to the conclusion of what we had for you today. It's a book that was being launched. It is UNCAGE, and it is your guide to breaking free from hidden barriers to your success. You've heard, she had to go to a coach so that she could discover herself, which means she didn't have a meeting with herself, that she managed to get to discover her ability to inspire other people. So to you as well, you have an opportunity to get to be taken through this coaching journey. And it begins with this book, UNCAGE. I've got myself a copy. Maybe the next time that we are meeting, we could have a conversation about how this book has transformed a number of people. This is just one of the many launches that Winnie will be holding. Based on our conversation, she says that she could be holding a number of them in major towns in Kenya. So look out
on her page, that is Winnie Tanui. Or is it Tanui Seure?
Yeah, Seure Tanui.
Well, that is her page. You can check out, and for us also, if we would be working with her together with us, we'll be able to inform you of when next and how soon the next launch would be coming about. So until another time. Oh, I'm being reminded that we've not cut the ribbon to signify an official launch. Now that we have about quite a number of people have been watching, so let them also see it being unveiled. And I think somebody can assist to bring us the books here, then we'll have them unveiled here. Yeah. So to Boaz Komen and Festus Korir, is it Festo Korir? You could, you will need to find, or rather to give us your address where you are, then Winnie and her team will organize how the book will get to you. Yeah, so the table can just come in front. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Nobody wants to be an obstacle to their success. Despite the great intention, much of the obstacles you encounter are your own creation. You created them without knowing. You know why? Because much of your thought process is done unconsciously. Have you thought about that? Do you sometimes feel you're stuck and enclosed in a sort of a cage that you don't know what to do? Well, uncage yourself. This is your ultimate guide. The book is intended to help you interrogate your self-limiting habits and beliefs that hinder your growth and prevents you from achieving your potential. Break free from the self-made cages and prisons. So, written in simple yet thought-provoking way, this book aims to help you unlock your next level. We have an opportunity to have these books
Unveiled.
Officially, is it unveiled,
Yes.
launched? Yeah. So the ribbon is being cut, and here are your copies.
Yeah.
So to Haron and any other person who has been asking about the books, here they are.
Yeah.
Place your order 0745 353526. Place your order and you'll have them availed to where you are. And finally, would you wish to subscribe to what she does online? She actually maintains a blog. The blog is darebu.com.
Yeah.
And if you would wish to subscribe to what she does every day, you can have a message. Do you get a message every day in the morning, an inspiration message?
Not really. Well, okay, once a week.
Well, you will get an inspiration message once a week by sending a message Lengo to 21360. Send the message Lengo.
It's a free SMS.
To 21360 so that you can get inspirations by Winnie Tanui. Until another time, thank you and see you.
Thank you.
Nobody wants to be an obstacle to their success. Despite the great intention, much of the obstacles you encounter are your own creation. You created them without knowing. You know why? Because much of your thought process is done unconsciously. Have you thought about that? Do you sometimes feel you're stuck and enclosed in a sort of a cage that you don't know what to do? Well, uncage yourself. This is your ultimate guide. The book is intended to help you interrogate your self-limiting habits and beliefs that hinder your growth and prevents you from achieving your potential. Break free from the self-made cages and prisons. Written in simple yet thought-provoking way, this book aims to help you unlock your next level in your health, wealth, and relationships. Get yourself a copy today. Nobody